On this episode of Why Watch That.
When it comes to Marvel, we've got to appeal to this segment. Now we got to do this segment. Oh, it's too serious here. Let's lighten it. Let's do a joke here. Let's now go. No, the shifting tones don't work. Law and Order, whatever that new Law and Order started, and they brought Christopher Maloney back. And I started watching this. I'm not reviewing it, obviously. It was so heavy-handed. And it's just like I was like, why? I mean, the music, it sounded like, Zod was coming. When I was watching this, I'm like, what is going on? Why is this so trumped up? This show is the opposite. You've got to trust your story and trust the viewers. I like when I am trusted to figure it out.
And here's the thing. He's a legit veteran. Like, they forget that part. Like, of course you can get a loan.
Why Watch That is a podcast featuring the critic
and referee who go head-to-head on a quest to discover the best movies
and TV shows Hollywood has to offer. Expect the unexpected from the critic.
Well, nothing gets past the ref.
We do all the work.
So you don't have to. Welcome to Why Watch That. This episode of Why Watch That is supported by Entrepreneur Meal Plan. It helps leaders and professionals feed their bodies and businesses well. Do you know, Critic, I got a chance to attend a wonderful event by EMP here in Los Angeles. And it was so amazing because Brandy Cochran was able to gather people from all sorts of walks of life. We were able to gather together, have real talk, and some real good food too. It was a hit.
It's food for the soul and the body, which is so hard to find. So if you want to learn more about Entrepreneur Meal Plan, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, go to entrepreneurmealplan.com.
The Why Watch That talk.
My goodness. Whenever we do these TV talks, I always try to find what it is we're talking about. If there are any themes. Well, this one is definitely the theme of comics and outer space and craziness and sci-fi, except for one of them, which is just regular. But listeners, we totally have a wonderful little treat for you. We're checking in on some shows that we've been watching, and we're going to say goodbye to a show for the season. And we're also going to say goodbye to a show.
Yeah.
So all of that is happening for us. And we're even going to sneak around and peek a little bit.
Ooh.
So there that is. Now, allora, we have our first check-in. You've talked about this show, and off camera, we were talking about this character. And now we're seeing this character in a very different light than a recent release of this character. And we're talking about Superman and Lois. That's on CW. Again, these things aren't going anywhere. They're always going to be on a Warner platform. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
And Superman and Lois, if I remember correctly, was a later version of Superman that we haven't quite seen. Now, we did talk about Justice League and talk about that Superman. And just so that the listeners are clear, especially for those of us, and I'm pointing to myself, who aren't really like diving deeply into the DC universe as far as the medium of film and TV, the media of film and TV. These are not like what Marvel is doing. We'll talk about that in a second. By converging the universes across media.
Right.
These are separate, standalone. Someone may be confused. Oh, Superman and Lois, is this in the world of Zack Snyder? No, it's not. These are all separate entities, with the exception, I think you said, Flash and Arrow had some crossover stuff, and at one point on TV.
But that's TV. So the TV, like you're saying, the TV world of DC and the movie world, they
They have not crossed over yet. So, who knows? Because we are going to talk about someone who's doing that. But Superman and Lois is in its first season. We can review at least, 5 of those episodes. And you can give us your take on that. But they've already renewed it for a second season. So, it's only 15 episodes and we're not even halfway there yet. And Warner Brothers via CW are going to renew it. So tell us, where are we with Superman and Lois? Again, I always think about Lois and Clark, what was that show? Lois and Clark Kent with Dean Cain and Smallville and, very seem to be more family oriented kind of things. Is this another version of that?
Well, it's teen family drama. That's whereas the other ones like Smallville was. This is contemporary teen family drama. Let's say it that way. But not Euphoria. Okay, not there. No.
Very dark Superman.
Yeah, none of that.
No.
None of that. So we already talked about this, Raf, after the first episode. Like you're saying, the first 5 have now aired and they're on hiatus until May 18th or whenever it is. So here's what I'll say about it. I'm just going to go through point by point. In one of the episodes, maybe it was episode 4, they introduce a villain because they're a series of villains. Of course, it's a TV show.
Do we know these villains?
Well, if you know the comics, you might. So Kilgrave is in there and he's a diabolical criminal, very smart, and he's being transported from a prison in Metropolis because Superman is now back in Smallville. So who's going to watch these people? So, of course, he uses this as an opportunity to escape, all of that. That had potential. And the reason is there were stakes and momentum.
Okay.
So it was a smart thing to add to the other threats that were in place. The more threats for this show, the better. Because the more you're distracted from the writing. Now, point number 2. Yes, I did. Look, they know they're not doing brilliant writing. And if they don't, well, now you know. Now, second point.
Ooh, the shade.
You don't need to. Can we say this, Ref?
Please.
Here's the thing. If your dialogue isn't that great, if you have great ideas, especially in TV, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Like The Equalizer is poorly written, but I've enjoyed watching it. Yeah. Because the idea of watching Queen Latifah do this stuff with this cast, it works. It's fine. We're not coming here to see Zack Snyder's work. Okay, so point 2, Lois going after the billionaire owner of the Daily Planet. Okay, let's talk about that. Now, I like that from before, out of everything else in comparison. Now, this guy has some sort of perverse interest in Smallville. Why? Right? But there's urgency there. And that's the thing for this show. Urgent, urgent, urgent. Now, the teenage sons of Superman and Lois discovering powers, possibly? Yeah, that's what we're here for. It's on the CW. There you go. That's how you bring in the kiddos. That was number 3. Number 4, the special effects. Inconsistent. That's what I would say. But probably adequate for TV. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not going to hate too much on that. And then we, of course, have Zod, who is one of my favorite villains in all of comic-dom.
Really? Zod?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Oh, no. You like an actor who played Zod.
Well, I also like Zod in Man of Steel. I like that.
You Zod. Like the actor who played
but
Zod.
Maybe.
I think if anybody else besides Michael Shannon playing that role. Oh, no.
But see, that's 2 iterations.
Because he had a no. I'm gonna call you on it. He had a point of view.
He did. He sure did. Hey, he came to Earth and said, "Look now, I'm gonna tell y'all something, and all y'all gonna pay attention." Every screen.
Do you know why I say that? Because the other 2, I can't remember their names, but Zod's little minions, they weren't as, I was like, those 2 actors alone, I mean, we could just build the whole
Yes, and in the Man of Steel, like Feora, I liked her too. You know, because they come in and they're militaristic. Like there's a strong point of view. Whereas, of course, in Superman 2, we're just having fun. I mean, you know, come on now.
Just one more time. What do you say, Neil? What do you say?
Kneel before Zod. Yeah, I mean, come on now. Lex Luthor, ruler of Australia.
I gotta pop that in. I gotta watch that again.
Come on now. I mean, the first two Supermans are just like, they always work. They're beautiful movies. They really are. And remember, they were filmed back to back, actually. Anyway, you can look that up.
Yep. You've told us many times.
Yes. So, the Zod storyline. It's not immediate. They're doing this slowly developing plot line. I don't care. And they have this other realm. I'm not going to say literally what it is. This other realm. Whatever. Now, getting to the family drama and the teen brooding. Yes. There you go. Exactly. Stagnant. I don't care. Okay, I don't
care. Have we ever cared, though? I mean, you were a teen. I mean, have we ever cared?
Well,
I feel like
if
teens get a bad rep.
If it adds to the plot, yes. If it adds to let's pull in teens and have a teenage moment and brood and be in high school and maybe there's a girlfriend, I don't care. Like if one of the sons has powers and he's on the football team and what does that look like? That's fun. Where is it? It's not developed enough. Ugh.
Hopefully in the second half.
Well, so let's get to that. Will I continue to watch this after the hiatus?
That is the most pertinent question.
5 episodes. For me, they haven't found the right balance. I don't dislike it, but it is not, I don't trust them to get the balance right for me. But I will say, everybody, if you're interested at all in this, you have 5 episodes right now to catch up. They are available on the CW site, on their app, and so on. So you can check it out and ask yourself the same question. If you make it through all 5 and you're in a hiatus, would you be willing to pick it up a month later? Right? That's the question.
Well, there you have that. I think this is a great segue because we both are fully caught up on the measly 3 episodes. I mean,
half the season.
It is half of the season, but of course we're talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, aka Sam and Bucky. You know, Sam and Bucky take, you know, whatever that little Saigon, wherever they were. I don't know where they were. Their episode, Indonesia. Just to remind everyone, this is Marvel TV's second limited series. I'm calling it limited series. I know you have many series, but I feel like if stuff is successful, you know, there's nothing beneath Disney to keep it going, even though they say one and done.
Right.
So we're going to say limited series. And we all know, just to get everybody acclimated again, because, you know, we talk about this and you have to kind of be under a rock not to, but some people choose to be under a rock because they want to binge, and you cannot do that currently on this platform. They are a weekly release, so you have to wait Friday for it to be released. And at this point, this is after the blip. This is life after Tony Stark. Life after Captain America. And what does that look like for Falcon and the Winter Soldier? And now we're in a certain situation to get to the bottom of a certain group of people.
Yes.
What are we doing here? What's happening with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier at this point?
That is the question. There are a series of shows going on in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Do all of them work? That's the question.
Clarify that.
Here we go. I'm going to get into it. So one part of it is the whole family, personal life of Bucky and Sam. Sam has his sister, and, you know, they're trying to get money to keep some business going, and, you know, they can't get a loan, even though he's an Avenger. That doesn't even make sense.
I can't. It's just, and here's the thing. He's a legit veteran. Like, they forget that part. Like,
right.
He was a legit veteran.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't.
Of course, you can get a loan.
Just go to somebody who works with the Avengers and say, I need a loan. It doesn't even make sense. But anyway, so they have that thing going, which pops up every now and then, And then we know that Bucky is dealing with PTSD, trying to get over Hydra. And yes, very severe. He has to go to counseling sessions, which he does not want to attend.
But he has to.
He has to. Don't mess around with that therapist. I'm going to tell you that. Okay. If you see that actress, don't play. Because she ain't playing. I'm going to tell you that. So, all right. And then we also have this whole thing you were getting into, Raf, with the serum that made the Winter Soldier. It's gotten out. How did this happen? These people have gotten it. They are now soldiers. What do they want to do with it? That's the overarching narrative here throughout all 3 episodes. They've got to get to these people and stop them, right? And then you also have the Buddy Cop movie, TV show, where they want to do Bad Boys for Life while they're getting their butts kicked. Let me tell you something. We saw Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Go head to head.
When he walked, we all felt it. Okay, what the Russo brothers did there. He is no joke.
No.
And I don't care if he's working through his trauma. When you put him in a TV show and call it the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we better see the Winter Soldier. Exactly. So this is all episode 2. When episode 1, we talked about it, Ref. I thought that the action was okay. If we continue that, fine. I'll accept the storylines. Fine. Episode 2, I was like, what am I? Excuse me. Like I said, if they're going to have their butts kicked, they better not be joking. Or I don't take any of this seriously. None of it. All of the stakes are gone. Gone. So why am I watching this? Then in episode 3, they got it back together appropriately. Was it perfect? No. Also, here's the thing. If you're joking in one scene and getting your butt kicked, okay. And then you go see someone who was experimented on and you're recalling the Tuskegee experiment. How does that work tonally? It doesn't. To me, it's always, when it comes to Marvel, we've got to appeal to this segment. Now we got to do this segment. Oh, it's too serious here. Let's lighten it. Let's do a joke here. Let's now go. No, the shifting tones don't work. It's like it was put together in a lab. So.
How appropriate, though.
So what I would say is I really thought that the second episode was a dud, a complete dud. Mm-hmm. Episode 3, though, I was like, I don't mind watching this. Some people pop up, a certain villain, and a certain person who's in hiding, and she ain't happy. She was like, no, you better help me.
I have to say, and rightfully so, though.
Yes.
What she did. I have to say that, because I'm going to walk this dance very, very tenderly. I think you really did hit it on the head. Mm-hmm. Hit it on the head with that. I really think that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I agree with you that the title is misleading. I want, if you have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we do expect that, or I expect it as an audience. But I have to say that I have such high regard for what the Russos did to the Marvel Universe. I mean, very high regard.
Yeah.
So much so that what they did, especially with those first 2 projects that they worked on, to me, shifted the entire universe. So much so, and everybody knows that they did because they let them do the last 2. Mm-hmm. They let them end it. Mm-hmm. So it really is hard to watch. This being in the hands of someone else. When there was such a strong opinion and a strong establishment of, we knew who Bucky was in Captain America First Avenger. Mm-hmm. But we really got a strong establishment of the Winter Soldier with the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So now that we're going back to the Avengers, I'm sorry, back to the first Avenger, the Bucky storyline. I'm finding myself really scraping to care, like just trying to find little nuggets. And when arch villains who completely shifted a whole movie is in a club dancing, like, but not for a reason dancing, just like I'm dancing.
Yeah.
That to me isn't funny. It's not, you know, and some people lighten up. Well, then I invested 10, 12 years.
He was experimented on.
Yeah.
Injected with a serum and mind controlled to kill. Lighten up.
With that, and with that person too.
That's what
we're just gonna be hanging out.
Right. How are we gonna lighten that up? Take your own story seriously. Or take away the torture and everything else and just let him be a regular old superhero. Captain America in this show is more serious.
Well, now we haven't talked about that. I have a hard time talking about those two characters, and I'm not, because it's very hard to watch. It's very hard to watch. So I won't be talking about the new Captain America and his. I won't, because I'll get myself in trouble.
Yeah, because the question is, does it work? But he's serious, at least. I'll give him that. He ain't joking with them. He's like, look, okay, you don't want to work with me? Stay out of my way then. But then can we take that seriously?
Well, we are definitely looking forward to seeing if there's any kind of resolve or any kind of momentum. Now, the word on the street is episode 4 is supposed to be, something to watch. So we'll see when we get there.
Yeah, we will.
Why don't we talk about a season finale? And you were able to catch the full season of Resident Alien on Sci-Fi. Now, whenever we say Sci-Fi, we always have to go, yes, it's a channel. They have actual shows on Sci-Fi. Relax. It's already been renewed for season 2.
Yeah.
And you can tell us if Sci-Fi is worth the venture, because we don't go to Sci-Fi a lot. It's not like you get this plethora of stuff.
Yes.
But, you seem to have finished it.
Yeah. I think the last Sci-Fi show I watched multiple episodes of was Krypton. Thinking about Superman and Zod and all of that. I think that was the last one. And now we're here. And I really enjoyed it from the beginning when I reviewed it and I finished it. And I've got to say that they did a really good job. I've got to give it to them. They did a really good job of developing, because in the beginning, especially, I was like, okay, we do have an alien who crash lands on Earth. What's his mission, really? And he hides himself in a certain way. He becomes a human. He takes over somebody's identity. How can he do this? And how does he relate to the humans? Will he be spotted? So that's really one of the questions. And Alan Tudyk is just perfect. I mean, it's just perfect and raw. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Perfection. And this alien hates humans. I mean, he says it. And so it's just hilarious. Like, he'll talk to them and he doesn't know how to talk. But then you hear what he's thinking too. And there was one line that he said, it was so funny, just in his head, because somebody was coming after him and he was kind of like, wait a minute, in his head. So it's just stuff like that that's so much fun. But I thought that outside of him, I really didn't want to see the other people so much. Not that it was bad. It was just that was so compelling. But they did, across the season, weave a lot of those other people in a way that made a lot more sense. So by the end, I didn't mind so much if he wasn't on the screen. So I thought that was a feat. His relationship with one of the little kids in this town, it's almost beautiful, even though it's an antagonistic relationship. It's beautiful to watch it grow. So that they really grew these relationships. The alien changes as he's in human form that affects him. So there's a tension between what he needs to do and what he wants to do, especially with the food. I mean, he's supposed to, get off the planet finally at the end of the first season. And, they're having a sale on pizzas. He's like, well, I got to get these pizzas. So I would say, because I don't want to give away exactly what everything's going on here, he does become a doctor What is that like? But it's not really about that. You do have the sheriff and his deputy and their relationship going on. You have a nurse who works with him, becomes one of his friends. Who finds out about him, though? Okay. And what's a threat? Because, if you come on the earth, the government knows stuff. And there is a action superstar who shows up in a certain role. And she, I will give you that, ain't playing. Okay. So
all right.
I would say this, everybody. If you are someone who is frustrated by humans ever, if you are someone who goes, if these people don't shut up, I'm going to strangle them. This is your show. This is your show. Okay. Watch that. If you are ever frustrated by people, just turn this on.
Well, no doubt you will be returning for season 2.
Yes.
Let's end this before we get to the sneak peek. Let's end it.
Yeah.
Beartown, which is a limited series, so it wasn't like it got canceled. This is on HBO, not HBO Max, but it is on HBO Max app. So
yes,
it's there. You can watch the entire 5 episodes at this point. Limited series, so there's a beginning, middle, and end. In case you didn't want to invest in anything, because we do have to say that. I think it's important for us to say that, to give our listeners offerings like that, because I was not this weekend, but last weekend, I was like, ugh, I don't want to invest. I don't want to invest in anything. And limited series can be really good options for you if you just wanted to binge something, but not invest in multiple seasons of something. So Beartown, you did tell us a little bit about it. This is in subtitles, right? So
yeah,
we're reading.
We're in Sweden, so
we're reading.
Yeah.
And what's going on here? Do we need to binge it if we haven't seen any of it now?
You don't have to binge this. I would say it that way. You could. I would feel it out, is what I would say, as you go through, because it's a lot to take in. And it is based on Frederick Bachman's novel of the same name. And Frederick wrote A Man Called Ova. So if you ever read that, everybody's an international bestseller. This ain't that. But the thing about Frederick's writing from reading A Man Called Ova, I did not read Beartown, is he handles very serious situations in a way that throws you off. You don't expect it. It's not heavy-handed. He has a way of making it believable, yet you don't want to shrink away from it. It's a very interesting thing. So the question is, does the show match that? I would say yes. I would say it does. Is it a 100% success? No, I'd probably give it 85%. That's what I would give it, which is high. And just thinking now, Ref, because Law and Order, whatever that new Law and Order started, and they brought Christopher Maloney back. And I started watching this. I'm not reviewing it, obviously. It was so heavy-handed. It's just like why? I mean, the music, it sounded like, Zod was coming. When I was watching this, I'm like, what is going on? Why is this so trumped up? This show is the opposite. You've got to trust your story and trust the viewers. I like when I am trusted to figure it out. So what's happening here, this is a town in Sweden, and hockey is what they're all about. And they are trying to keep this arena open. They got to win to get the money to keep it open. And one of the town stars, he played professional hockey. He was in Canada, comes back to be a coach, brings his wife, brings his 2 kids, and brings some baggage. I won't tell you what that is. But the thing is, it's not heavy on the show when you're watching it. So, okay. And he decides, I'm going to coach this team. And it's the junior hockey team. But they're teens. And one of them is a star. And he lives across the way from this family. And his father and this coach have history from when they were kids. Now, so we see how this plays out. And the coach's daughter and this teen budding superstar of hockey, they lock eyes. Let's say it that way. And there's a party and things happen. And in the end, the question is, with all of these people, because it's not just about them, there's also a young Muslim kid who joins the team. How's he treated? What does he see? And so on. There's another guy who's friends with this star. What's that like? What's he hiding as well? And so on and so forth. So in the end, really the question of this show is this. If a violent crime occurs and it's an athlete involved, not even that, it's a star. A star is involved in a violent crime. What happens? How do people react? How do people receive it? So that's really the question. The question is celebrity culture and criminality. What is that powder keg? Without them being heavy-handed about it. Because as I've said before in this show, the first thing you see is two people running in the snow in the mountains, and somebody has a gun.
Yeah, okay. Well.
Now, so if you are willing to go down this road, just note what I said, though. Of course, as the ref is saying, you do have to read subtitles. This is a show I don't remember reading so much.
Oh, interesting.
It's not a lot you have to read. Just because I was interested, especially they just know everybody, it takes until episode 4 for the intensity to go.
4? That's only 5 episodes.
I know, but you'll get there and you'll see, oh, okay, they've been putting all of these pieces into place for that. Because you really don't want them to get there sooner. Because it would be they would have dragged it out.
But the question is, will we enjoy that journey to get to 4 for the average listener, for our listeners?
If you're someone who doesn't need it to be overheated, then yeah. Like, because I keep thinking of Law and Order, because I watched Law and Order in the 90s. I'm like, is that what they're doing now? This is crazy, because Law and Order used to be very, just straight. But anyway, so if you are somebody who wants to see small town life and the personalities and how they interact before the kaboom, and then that kaboom plays out in ripples. Some of it's unexpected how people react. Okay, so you'll see what that is. So if you're someone who's interested in that, like you're saying, it's only 5 episodes. And you don't have to binge it. You can come back later and pick it up again. So I would give them a thumbs up for this with a tricky subject. I think they did a good job. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we have a sneak peek for you listeners, and this is something that we were able to snag from South by Southwest. Thank you for that. The first 2 episodes premiered at the festival, and this is all coming at us April 9th. It's an anthology, and it's called Them. This is on Prime Video, and I always like to say Amazon Prime, even though every time I type in Amazon Prime, like wanting the video, it's Prime Video. Yeah. So it's so annoying, but it is what it is. So again, if you have shipping, you've got Them. And you're laughing at me, but I feel like I was like, oh, I saw this good show on Prime, and my mom, sorry, Mom, I didn't mean to say Mom, but a person will be like, oh, I wish I could watch it. I'm like, Mom, you have shipping. You've got the app. You just go right in and you watch it for free. You don't have to pay for anything. Mm-hmm. So, I think we're getting that. I think Marvel, certain shows have taken us to understand that, but Them is coming at us April 9th. It's an anthology, like I said. And, if you want to get technical, it's Them Covenant. Ooh.
Yeah.
What's going on here? And we know who this is coming from.
Yes. So, Lena Waithe is the executive producer, but not writing, not show running. Now, a woman. Played by Luke Cage's Deborah Irende. She's alone at home with her baby when her dog runs out of the house and into the arms of another woman. Now, this other woman, played by Dale Dickey, who, if you see Dale, you should always be on edge. Always. Okay. Just period. So she seems a bit off. Now, the mom senses this and tells the woman that her husband, the hubby's going to be back shortly. Is that true? And what about her 2 daughters who are with her husband? Now, after a tense and strange back and forth, the mom, who is Black, we got to say that here, realizes that this woman, who is white, is really off. This white woman wants something from this Black mom that no one in their right mind would ask for. Next, we cut to the same Black mom riding in a car with her husband at the helm. Okay. Now, the husband, by the way, is played by Top Boy's Ashley Thomas. And their 2 daughters are in the back seat. Now, they're moving up and going across the country. And this is a period piece. But you go, well, wait a minute. Is this the same family as before? If so, where's the baby? Now, regardless, this lovely family is moving to a lovely looking neighborhood. Now, I said it's a period piece. It's 1950s. They're going to California. So where could this neighborhood be? Well, it is a white neighborhood. So you can see where this is going. You can smell it. And when you find out the name of this neighborhood, let me tell you, you might let out a little chuckle. You might go, okay, well, hilarious. Now, this Black family, mom and dad, that is, knows what it's getting into, but they've resolved to never run away again. Never run away from what exactly? Well, this show does deal with the Great Migration. And if you don't know what happened, if you don't know what that is, they're going to show you. Also, don't forget what happened during the decade prior to the 1950s. Globally. How does that play a role? Now, with that said, here's a question. When this family arrives at its new house, what exactly will the welcome wagon look like? Now, there's one neighbor, played by Allison Pill, who has plans for them. Okay? And none of those plans are good. But do all of the neighbors agree? Also, what can this Black family do to protect itself? And is the threat merely external? Because as the realtor tells them when they move in, there is a basement in the house, which is rare for this area. Now, here's my review. Based on the first 2 episodes of this 10-episode series, which, by the way, it spans 10 days in this family's life, creator and showrunner Little Marvin, along with director Nelson Craig, they show that they understand the craft of horror and how to blend racial themes into that genre seamlessly. I will give them that. All the beats are solid. The cast is very good from top to bottom. And the look along with the music is the perfect fit. Also, unlike HBO's Lovecraft Country, they're not biting off more than they can chew. This is clear. It's a clear vision. However, as I was watching the first episode, I was getting appropriately angry. Now, that's not a bad thing necessarily, but if I'm going to get angry, it better be worth it. And after episode 1, I didn't know whether this was worth all of that. Because I don't need lessons on the harshness of race relations during the past, the present, or the future. So for me, I need an interesting mystery to solve or a bit of humor to go with all of the seriousness and terror. For instance, Get Out. Get Out, right?
I was thinking Get Out.
Exactly. There was some humor, especially Laurel. Okay, come on now. And that kept me invested. But then I watched the second episode of Them. And in that episode, there were a couple of humorous moments interspersed with the tension and terror. Also, they threw in a little wrinkle into the family dynamic that I found very interesting by the end of the episode. So because of that, and because it is well done, I'll keep watching. Now, we don't know how it's all going to end up. Who knows? And I'd say this. If you like Jordan Peele's work, or if you like Lovecraft Country, or anything similar, you should certainly give them a try because it is good. There's no doubt about that.
Well, here's a question for you. Usually Prime will let you watch it top to bottom. Are they releasing it weekly or?
I think it will be all episodes.
Okay.
Don't quote me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. We'll keep our eye out on that then and see, if this is something we could take on with that. Now, listen, we've been all over the place for this episode in a good and way from some of the shows, but it just goes to show you that we love highlighting the big stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Disney Plus. But then also when we find a jewel on a tiny little sci-fi, it's always wonderful to share that with you, listeners. Listen, TV is here. I know stuff is getting a little loose out there, but if you just need to stay home a little bit longer, it feels like there's some things worth watching to keep you company.
Thanks for listening. For additional resources, visit WhyWatchThat.com.
Good idea, and we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and leave comments, feedback, and you can rate us on iTunes.
We'll see you next week.
See you.